مرحبا هون في أفريكا تي في ساعتي كمي كنيهم اسباني قبل صبح كنيهم تكونوا تفرعلي عدد هذا اللي هم أمريكا اللي هم أستراليا أب نيوزيلاند هاجرنا بإيرترا مولا أفريقيا اللي هم تفرعلي هاي أفريقيا كمون أب أوروبا أب نورث جميل حساب دبوب عدد لهم كينو ولا بلجيم سدرا يعرفتنا اللي هم بعد عدد لهم اللي هم لما عالتي actually مس سمهر أسمرهم أبرها بصدر أسمرهم أب كامبرا عدني رمسان النوع عمتات فتو بصدريو صار حجوهم بزح كونتاكت ندلنا حج مس سمهر حزنا مسنا لنا أوروب سمهر كابنيش تكلها هب قريبنا نفعلت كامبرا هنمارا لسكولنا ولا ونا فيستيفال كوينو بعدين نفعلت بتعمل هجراويت بتعمي إنرجيتيك بتعمي فنان دلوا سبيع بومهنات كأبزي مساهم زي مساهم كنا هو في اللي هنعلل زعوا من إساعة برنامج زعوا نبرة بحفشوا كميو نبرة بيرث كميو حدش نبرة حدار قلت معباي تمرتي سرح نبل كله how is what's the challenge له you know كله دلوا تناي نبرة من إساعكم كا ني أبيوت نقصل كان كميو تي challenge دلوا قله زعوا وقت خنا علل لنا سلام مكتتال thank you سمهر ما أوروب بزعما خد وقت تنقرنا أوروب you know عبي هي تايتمو كروتات نيروناي تمرتات تفعلي بوتاتك.
No problems. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Horn of Africa radio. I just wanted to say my name is Semhar Asmarom, as Emma Samuel introduced me. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. I feel very privileged to be able to talk to you all. Obviously, thank you very much for the introduction. That was very kind and humble. I'm very grateful for that. I was born in Kuwait in the Middle East, and obviously to my amazing parents, Asmarom Abreha and Isabel Gabriselase, amazing parents. I can't praise them enough. Wouldn't be here without them. They've brought us up to the best way that they can, and we are their products today. I just then we moved to Eritrea when I was 9 years of age. In Eritrea, we stayed about 5.5 years, did a bit of our studies there with my siblings. The best time I've had in my life, wouldn't change it for the world. I've learned so much, loved learning our culture, loved learning Tigrinya, loved being among our people and the beautiful cultures and the beautiful, colorful people we have. We then, fortunately, we came to Australia due to Dad's work. We've been here ever since 2002. So I have been in Australia for, 18 years? So a very long time. Most of my years, yeah. I am married, and we have 3 kids, beautiful kids. I'm married to Dawit Semhar, who is also a very, very amazing human being who is really nationalistic and loves his country. We have 3 beautiful kids. Our eldest is 10 years of age, our middle child is 8, and my youngest is nearly 5. I'm also a clinical nurse. So juggling work, juggling kids, juggling marriage, and all the responsibilities of being Eritrean can be a bit challenging and fitting in the community and the social life. However, this is a very, very little thing we can contribute to our Eritreanism, as such, in comparison to what Tom's caused.
I may stop you in between, just to go back a little bit, because you said something that was really interesting was, so how old were you when you went back to Eritrea from Kuwait?
I was 9.
9. So, you know, the biggest thing that I have always dreamed, always dreamed to go back. One day I hope I'm going to be back. And instead of coming back to going to Eritrea, I ended up here in Australia, further away from Eritrea. So, you know, so first, what was your expectation? So living in Kuwait, you know, it's, you know, literally like first class, everything is, or a nice place anyway, you know. And then, so psychologically, when you move from Kuwait, that is the biggest thing that people would have. Oh gosh, you know, you know, what are we going to be? Who are we? Television can really level 7, no? Toman is had بحفشو حجسي. كمان يرو تثبيت كيف حنقول كسي أب تثبيت كي and then English كلتي ونا حاوزنا أوروبا تعرف هنا بالنا مالتي. What was your expectation? And then what was on the ground in a way? حجسي تثبيت كن تي رجعت أماكن سخمين يرو.
أنا حق نقدر as a 9-year-old بعد خايكون كان decide تقبر عندك سيدي أنت expectations when نير نخبل كايك ليني سدرايس كان كيدي ناس لزبلوغ as a 9-year-old obviously تخل كم سام تخيل وبزح obviously maybe ماما أوروب بابا خا أوروب فريحة من يوم من البات عين بطون نخون تي بهلي قبل نخو as a 9-year-old see you're very adaptable to change, you're adaptable to your environment, you're a fast learner, and you know we were very involved. Dad and mom have brought us up in the Eritrean community in Kuwait, though we had only just visited Eritrea earlier when we were younger. Eritrea was never far from our heart. We have always been involved in the community. Dad and mom have been a very big part of the Eritrean community in Kuwait when we were younger, and we had a community center that we all used to go every week and spend most of our weekends there and have meetings and so on and meet other like-minded Eritreans. And so Eritrea has really never been far from our heart. We might have physically not been there, but I feel like we've been brought up already belonging. So when we went to Eritrea, we fitted really nicely in. Obviously, my parents were a little bit weren't sure how we were going to take on. Dad had dropped us, you know, settled us in and went back to Kuwait. So it was us and mum essentially, and mum, a little bit of background of my mum. My mum was born in Egypt to a very nationalistic dad. Who used to nurture all our like heroes and tagadalti agos omza nabara أب حقه إنير الناس لازم بخلتي وجن أزامي ناخذ رياض خلناسي بتعمي قراويان زخون سدرا بيت أب مونقوم زعبينا سدرا سلازنا برو سلازيس ماما أب إرترا أيت عبا أيت ولد أمبري إت هاجراون نتنت إرتراون نتنسي أب جز خوينا عبيا أديك أقدم أديك مسراوي تانيرا.
So it was really interesting because I have known your parents for a long time as well since they arrived here. And what is amazing is, you know, there are people it's like a movie character sometimes when you might have challenges or you might be on your road somewhere and you meet a hero, you know. So that's how I really, I mean, never حكي كم ولا بلبك زارف تقوليس كم عين السبب كل يوم سيب تعمي open, very helpful. I mean, selfless. Literally, your dad would drive all the way from Canberra here, just for if you just give him a call, and you know whenever you need him, he's on the phone. Your mom, the same thing, really big-hearted. But also, what I really learned something. Not I more or less knew a little bit, but what you just mentioned about your grandfather, you know, being there for all this. Eritrean Tegaralties movement, you know, guerrilla movement for all these years. So, and that is something that we also have something in common, I think. And that's how I grew up as well, with so many Tegaralties coming to our home, spending a week or a month or sometimes whatever the length from home back in Eritrea to even here in Europe, in Belgium as well. So that is what I truly love about our history. It's so rich. It is so amazing. And that's what's so important as well, to preserve it. Because when I tell my kids, for example, they will not, yeah, okay, they are born here, grow up here and things, but it's it's different, you know. It's like, unless of course they will go there one day and maybe they will have a bigger understanding.
Yeah.
But so you're saying that it's also left a mark in you, you know, despite being born in Kuwait.
Yeah.
And so going back to what you were saying earlier, so you went back to Asmara at age 9, and so, and your mom also is was not born in Asmara, so everybody had a challenge to adapt. So how did you adapt as a family?
I think we did pretty okay. Definitely, as kids, it might have been a little bit harder to adjust for my mum. It's obviously sort of a very different culture and a different way of living as such to what she was used to. But my mum has also, like I said, been brought up in a house of Eritreanism, solidarity. And so it wasn't new to her. The love of Eritrea is something that she also grew up having in her home, in her heart. So, you know, moving there anyway, they had their worries, I'm not gonna lie, as parents do. They tried very hard to make sure they provided everything, and nothing less of what we expected, and much more, to be quite honest. So we loved life in Eritrea. It was beautiful. We adapted beautifully. I remember when we didn't know any Tigrinya. Obviously, Dad had, and Mum has also still got a beautiful accent. All these years later, but us, as we were growing up, my dad would teach us Tigrinya along the way, and make it an incentive to learn more words and give us pocket money, and that's how we were encouraged to learn Tigrinya. Went to Eritrea anyway, no issues. We fitted in fine. Initially, we started in Jalia, Arabic elementary school, in year 4, I remember. That we were there for 2 years, and within the first year of us getting to Eritrea, we ended up getting into the music program. I went and performed in Keren. We did with Bakhita Ali as a young kid. I think I was a 10-year-old. So we adjusted fine to the life in Eritrea. We learned heaps in that beautiful culture of ours and our beautiful people. We fitted in fine, and then came 2001 when my dad was assigned the ambassador job here to Australia and New Zealand. And again, we were very fortunate. We have come to Australia. Australia has become our second home, though we have been really not in Eritrea, but Eritrea really lives within us as such.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about me. Sorry, I've blabbered a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then you kind of adapted here and did your studies, high school, and so what we were discussing yesterday was quite interesting as well. You're definitely you told us a little bit about the love of your country, and so now you're looking at despite having a career in nursing, which is that in itself, even if you were living by yourself, just single, just go to work and sleep the whole day, that in itself is a big job. And then you have your family, 3 kids. So how do you manage all that?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, coming to Australia, it was definitely a shock as to where we were when we were in Eritrea. Everybody lives together, kids are raised by the community really in Eritrea, and everyone is your parents. So you have spare parents everywhere in Eritrea. You come to Australia and then you don't know your next door neighbor. And it was a really cultural shock and adjustment. And with the language barrier, we didn't speak English as such. We went to, we learned our ABCs, but, learning a whole new culture again, and learning a whole new language And then you usually, you know, when you come from overseas, you are advised to learn English before starting school. However, Dad and I sat down and decided we weren't going to do that. We were going to just go in head first, and as we go, and if we struggled, then, you know, we would think about plan B. But we decided the best way to tackle your fears and do your best learning is to go head first as such. And we did. We learned English as a second language at school. It took a little bit of adjusting. Canberra wasn't full of Eritreans like we used to. It's a very, very small city. It's a small population. It's a small population of Eritreans. And as you can imagine, Australia is, you know, the other end of the world in comparison to Eritrea. So all of that took a little bit of adjusting. I'm not going to lie to you. We didn't just fit in as we wanted to, as expected. But, you know, with mum and dad's help, with school, with getting used to, you know, spreading our wings and getting there, we managed to do that. So I studied high school, finished my high school in Canberra, and then went to Eritrean festivals in Melbourne, where it was amazing. Again, good to see Eritreans. That's something we looked forward to every year. It was a highlight of our year to come and be with our people, to the place where we're used to, our comfort zone as such. And then that's where I met my amazing husband now. So it was a place for people to meet people and have like-minded people get together, such, if there's such thing. So then because my husband died, was living in Perth, I was living in Canberra. I finished high school. Wasn't quite sure really what I wanted to do, so I wanted to take a gap year. I took a gap year where then I came to Perth, got engaged, lived with him and his family, which again, it was like home away from home. Fitted in again nicely, had to adjust, but Eritrean community in Perth has been amazing and very welcoming, and I just felt like I was home again. So that, and then I decided nursing was I might have had a little bit of an input from my husband there that I should really do nursing. So I did a bit of aged care work and decided, yep, this is definitely where I want to be. This is my passion. So I was studying at university, and then we went back to Eritrea and got married there. And then I was still at uni. I fell pregnant. I decided to continue on, as that seems to be the thing I do. I didn't want to stop because I knew if I stopped, I might not continue. So with the help of my amazing in-laws and the support, I was able to finish university and graduate with my child as an 8-month-old in my hips. So that was an achievement that I do. Again, nothing in comparison to what everybody else has sacrificed for our beautiful Eritrea, but something I could do for myself to better myself in order to contribute something to Eritrea at some stage.
That sounds good. You have had a lot of challenge and you have managed to go through all of them successfully. That's really amazing. So
the whole community.
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to, so you picked something that is something quite close to my heart as well, is education. Education is it's like a hammer. Like I have been hit with a hammer on my head every single day with everyone that anyone that I met as an Eritrean, even in our culture, we would say that without education, you can't really. It's not just the education. When you talk about education, you have the university, high school, and so on. But also, just want to clarify here, we have a lot of intellectuals, getting PhDs and masters and so on. But in English, we also call the masters the jack of all trade, master of none. They kind of, they might know a lot of things, or at least even sometimes so specific. They go deep, so deep inside in one specific skill, then they lose the effect of it, the importance of it, or they cannot really connect what they learn to how they can use it sometimes, And we have a lot of that, unfortunately, in our country, not in our country, but also some Eritreans as well. But what I want to say was education is very important, as you just point out. But also being Eritrean in the diaspora, that is the single most important ticket that we have. It doesn't mean that you have to go to university. It doesn't mean that you have to be a doctor or whatever it is, but at least learn something that you can master. You could be mastering anything. So as a good example, I had been working in banking for many years, but also you do network, you go to dinner, you go to different places and meet a lot of other people. And some of the people I've met are billionaires in this country. And one of them, he has eight children. And one of the children, all of them, some of them become doctors, some of them CEOs and all that stuff of different companies. And one wanted to become a plumber. And the mom was shocked, the brothers were shocked, and he went but he had to tell his dad that he really wanted to be a plumber. And so the dad says, if you want to be a plumber, but you have to be the best plumber in the country. And he took the studies, did the trade, and it's just the mindset. It could be anything, but if you are the best in whatever it's like us. Like if in Eritrea, we are a small number of people against 100. We fought 100 million. At least at that time, it might have been 60, 80 million people. But you were the best at it. Every Tigray was the best as what they could do. So here the same thing. Then he became the best, and he created a $250 million company within short period of time, because he became the best and he found ways to make things more efficient. He started to then employ other people, and he created a whole company around that idea. So here, that's what I really love, that you were adamant about it. You just didn't relax and say, I'm married now, I will, pregnant, I'm going to raise my kids, and I will just relax for a couple of years, and maybe in 5-10 years I'll come back to it. So I really applaud that. That's really quite amazing, quite an achievement you have done. So what would you say to youngsters, not just women or girls or something, but any young person, whether be it in Eritrea? I know they are doing really well. They hardly need any motivation, because they really are working really hard. But for those of us, like our children, or at least those who are in their early 20s at the moment, but even doesn't have to be 20s, even 40s, 50s, even if you are 70, it doesn't matter. What would you advise them to do?
My advice is that when the challenge becomes more challenging, you just have to go ahead, because what challenges are for a short period of time. And if you quit every time you have a challenge, then you're not going to be a successful person. Education doesn't necessarily make you the best at everything, but education makes you a well-rounded person. And we have the opportunities, we need to make use of them. We can't help others when we can't help ourselves. We need to better ourselves. We need to improve our lives in order to be able to contribute to the bigger society. And without education these days and age, you're not going to get far. Even a trade is an education. I'm not dissing trade. I'm not saying everybody must go to university. But what I say is everybody needs to make an effort, and everybody needs to utilize the opportunities we have to the fullest, and do not quit. You have to continue. Quitting is not an option. And that's part of being Eritrean. And that's how I grew up at home. Quitting is not something we do as Eritreans. And we should not settle for less. We should continue fighting. We should continue improving ourselves. We need to stay humble. we need to help others when needed. And that's just how I live my life and how I try to live their life.
Yes, good. So now you're in Perth, and you're quite active, you know, in the early years of the festivals. I understand that, you know, with kids and but also a lot of us, as we were discussing last week with Binyam and Mohammed Saleh, you know, as young guys, you know, we do a lot of things. We don't think about the energy that we're spending, even the time, and we give it 100%. And then as you know, not that because you age or something, but as you start having more responsibilities, the family, the kids, we draw a little bit. And there was a lot of obstacles that we have identified as well from within the community, actually, within the propaganda that we have been through, the propaganda machine of our good friends in the South. People have been affected negatively in a way, negatively so affected that even there was a lot of pessimism within ourselves, you know. There was a lot of selfishism, like selfish, you know, thinking about more about myself than anyone else, you know. And that so contributed of some of us, well, to focus just on myself and things. But what we discussed last week was that things are changing, you know, due to the also the internet, the technology as well, like Zoom. You couldn't do Zoom like 10 years ago. Now we are reconnecting, reawakening. Also, it's something that what I recognize in you and Binyam or any other people I have spoken to is that we have still that burning desire to contribute to our country, to our, you know, without even going home to the community that we have here, you know. So how are you, like, you know, planning to get involved with the youth, like here in Australia and New Zealand? Let's get started probably with Perth, and then see how we could go and reignite that burning fire that we had a couple of years ago. So what are the ideas that you have for Perth to start with?
Well, I think what we have to think about this is that it's not that people have lost interest or anything or become selfish. I think with life itself changing, with jobs, family, it's the time constraint and they're not being able to give it 100% and be there committed. I think people step back. People contribute for a short period of time at their 100% when they're single, when they've got nothing constraining them. I think every little contribution should still count. I think, you know, people who serve at their prime years and then step back a little bit because of time constraints, we are still appreciative of what they have done, and we should still be grateful, still try and involve them to whatever their extent allows them to, their lives allows them to. We have to remember that there's a lot of more commitment these days. Again, like I said, commitments with church, commitments with community, commitments with life itself. They also need to connect to where they belong in their community to fit in, to be able to be successful. So I think we need to give people credit for what they have contributed to, and I think we need to keep encouraging them to continue contributing, not even at the same rate, but any contribution is a contribution, and we shouldn't diss that. We may have difference in opinions, and that is okay too. We need to work on those things, work on bettering ourselves and accepting others people's opinions. Just because you and I don't agree on one thing, I don't think we should be completely dissing people, and that's something we do as Eritreans, I think, a lot, and we need to work on that. Improve ourselves before we can improve people. That's really an important thing that I need to work on myself. I need to work on others. We need to be able to be open to other people's ideas. Not everybody's opinion is usually the best opinion, but however, we need to be able to adapt that. We need to be able to work on saying, okay, well, that's fine. This is what you think. I acknowledge your opinion, and I acknowledge that every opinion matters. However, can we work on something? As long as we have elamana hade دعي خونم بري كم يجرنا نمكتوت نجاركو قال سخمين نمكتوان أن إحنا كايدا لنانجي كن علامنا حسب حدث خونه I think what we need to work on is عدناتنا مدلدا قرب كناتنا عدنا زنبرو قلولاو ناي حجر قلولاو ناي ملو علم سلازنا برا من البات هاجرا ونتن اتي that burning feeling that wanting to do something might have been just stepped back a little bit or moved to the side rather than really continuing. We can reignite that again, and I think we can we need to bring that back. It's something that makes us, if we were to have a checklist of what makes us Eritreans, is that we need to feel the love of our country. We need to make sure our families are looked after, and this is what part of it makes us Eritreans. So we need to work on that. What the plan is, hopefully, and I'm hoping that this can be achieved. It's going to take time. You can't build a youth or a community within 1 day or 1 month. It's a long working process, and if you don't, at the end of the day كل جزء خفرسي. سلازم تحاولك نايشون أو حوج أني لك مسرت كم ونحنت له أمور حديان كنت مع نخلت أول حديان جلس أي تخيلني أنه وحكي زي سلازم حاسبنا رجينا زخناتات كمان لو أزاني أنا محبر من أسيات كنفتر نحسب لنا زلنا يوم مسرح زيو بزح من أسيات اللونا تي السم كنا تعز حلفون نحنا زحلفنا يزت نحنا بزي ببين سلوز هنا حاب منجز أمرنا حدا نجر راح إرتراونات سلوز هنا أبوينا خنصرح نتعر زلنا من أسيات بزح متأمنا له تي حجراونات راح منم إرتراوي نعدو زت الإرتراوز بحاليا أبملو علم كيده إرتراوز اللي إزبل إرتراوي أيرخبكم كسب حج زبل أنت يطرح تي الرداد الأنا بينو تي مسرتنا أبغى أنا بينو دخل لك لزخونة راح ينبري تهاجراونات كثير كازمت سيو حججن تاي نازل لين نازل له تحدنتنا مدلدال تفار هاجرنا مقصقص تي الرداد أنا أبحد مسرع كنسرع إنا دلنا دلنا محبر من أسيات فاتيرنا نتهم ولا نعرفراسي أبزخينا إذا زخن قبل لا إخ ولا كايك اللي نتهم أبوش رح أجرز لو عدمنت عنا نهبهم نحنا خابس زكاء لنا حاجز كنحجزهم دلواتنا جن إحنا جن كنسرع حلو دلنا دلنا زم أبزيد زلو ولده إذا ولدنا خيط إذا هاجرنا تأرتراونت كيت أبز زلنا محبر كنمسرت مو نتهم نعشتخ المهرم بزعبة هاجرهم بزعبة قامقهم بزعبة فقر هاجر بزعبة هاجراونت كاب حما نجارات كله يومنتان أسوء خنسرعنا دلنا زلنا نعنا راح يكونس نزنت متزل ولدات كيت أنا أبحما قياتو إنا هنجبرو كنا مسرت محبر من سنة دلنا زلنا سلزي عندما تعناني حابنا أملخي حجزنا زلنا يا قمت قبل بنا دلنا زلنا كنملؤه تسفاي جبر.
Thank you. So bomber. Actually Kevin دعم زبوغ thank you actually. قرب ندي حريت ملسكي ريوين كره. زبوغ تزاريب كيف دعوة بتمحبرتي community حجي أبزوان زي انتهي كيدا لو بيرث بزغينا نسمعكم كلنا بتعمي زبوغ داود لكم محبرة لكم حجس انتهلو حجي أبز حجي وانت قبرو دلهم نعبتن نتهم نعشون نتهم أما أكل من الباش قرب انتهلو منتهي كم عبل قبو انتهلو سكي
اوكي محبر ناي إرتران معرب أستراليا ألنا نجي بعل محرت أب بحال تسفاي بعل نقاش بعل داويت كلهم بحنساب حبيرهم ننوح عمتها تقعيسنا بزحي خمناي بملبورن يبلنان جن ناي كم زتمال زبلا كاز نبركو ناي بزح دايكو نسي ناي قوم نقر زلكا نجي تبزحكا تبركتو بزح مالت هيكونن وحداتكم كون بزح تبرك تخل نديخا حجي نحناون بخومو زبل بخومي ناخذ قعست أن إحنا قرب مسخناتات ناي كوفيد مس متجمفرنا بيت خريستيان مخفات قرب أفتو كوميونيتي قرب زحتل زبرنا خوي نسمعني جن بنات رح ليكونوا سامبلو من العالم زلوا نجرندي حجي جن كم بحدش كنت محدش كم زي hopefully ندحر كم زلنا يا كوفيد precautions دحين كوينا كأننا دحين يغنينا كنا معبلو محبر منسياتون جنفرنات ندي محبر رقم ستير لنا نايبرز again زسر حلو نجارات حلو بعلنا تنت ناي مسكرم ناي حدش عمت نقبرنا نشي حنسب باربيكيو حنسب بارتيز علامة زلو تترنيفكا بعلنا تنت كبرات سواء استخفلوا لنا تنتنا بما نم نقر we shouldn't ever put a price on that. We should always celebrate it. We did a virtual celebration this year, unfortunately, with COVID. We all had a Zoom party as such. And yeah, we had a good time, but obviously nothing like the togetherness that we have. That's what we are, and that's what we were working towards to. We are hoping to get involved in the Western Australian African Union community, and we have got hopefully a program that I'm trying to organize is to get a stall in the African community showcase in Perth in the Expo, the African Expo, in a few months' time, and to showcase our culture and see if we can do like a little cultural performance dances. And that's a way of sharing with the world the beautiful culture and the beautiful language, the beautiful ornaments and things that we have. I feel like Eritreans need to get out there. I so envy the Eritrean youth community in Europe. One day, I hope one day we can get to that.
Nice. Very nice. Very good. Thank you, Semhar. Just I'm digging a little bit, so I know let you go. So what needs to be improved to actually to attract our children, of course, it's challenging itself to to what I'm announcing English at the number بتقرينا بتبعلنا بتقريديو حدار بديو ما نمتنا بحالتنا يعني عدنا قنقطات بجزانا نمرهم نتهم السحلة في النتنا دي حجون نتي مشالكي بقرب مشالكتي ولا حنت بدهون مهنات رح أقدر نسي على بصراحة دي بتمرتي دي غير كساعات هون حنسا مس أو تسركل مساعة خازي تعمك ولا دمزل ورح خيري دمزل عملت خيري ناولي جزي حلفنا حجنتم سبيشالي نتمنى سي اكتب لي أنا حكي أبزناي محبركم ني ساتف ولا just ولا curious كون إنه خمس أنت خبري قل قبلسي أنت حسب لكم أنت كم يعني أنت what could be done to attract them in a way بتقريني اسمع لس أنت نمكابلي كونس أنت كنقبر نخل مالتي.
كابانا خب جزانا خنجمرو زلنا بزح نجارات هلو بحال خان دق هار قانقانا نبعلنا حجي بتقرنيان بإنجليش نزاربو زلنا كاباي جمير كامالتيو نعنا نفسناتي نتقانقاناسي كنا راخب كلنا بتقرنيا خنزارب كنكلالنا ندقنا نعم تقرني أخن مهرم كنكلا لنا أب وزحتيلنا خاباي جمير كمان شيء خاب أنا خم سمهر خاب كالقي كتكو خاب جزاي زحتيلنا زلنا خن يسمع عني زبحر فور هاجرن مهرمنا أب تخرسيان هون نوس دوميناسون حدا نجرندي كن خاب جزانا خن كن مسرته كنكلا لنا كابو تعرفو خاء زم من ساعات كا نتاخن قبرنا we need to invest time in them we need to go down with them, sit down with them. We need to find out what their interest is, and we need to be adaptable to change. We need to be able to sit down with them, say, right, this is what we want. We all love Eritrea. What can we do? Eritrea does not want anything from us. The people are contributing more than enough. And though we blom Edmund and Nani Habom Eritrea Salam Yatat Ulazalla Salla Zukhubur Kubur Hai Saravna بخلت أقرأ دواب بالوازن لو المنقسنا ونكمو إحنا حجي we need to focus on us and how to bring that back, how to get into people's household and fill it with the Eritreanism that we grew up with. That's what we need to come. We need to. We currently have the Eritrean soccer youth group, so that's one way of getting them together is having a dedicated time in a spot. To have some leisure activities together. Last month we did an Eritrean barbecue. We did a barbecue. We managed to organize that. Again, you don't expect everybody to be involved to the same level as you do, but it's a work in progress. It's a long-term thing. You can't build it overnight. Like I said to you, it's going to take time. And as long as we find out exactly what their interests are, and we need to be adapt to that. And once you get a youth group, you can start applying for grants, and those grants can be done like to have a dinner day, like dinner with the youth, discuss what's their interests, see if you can help them, people who have gone through the education system, and see if the others are struggling, see if you can be of any help. You need to get down to that sort of level to be able to start from there. So again, like I was saying earlier on, you have to build a good basis. We need to build a basis with our youth. I'm not going to say it's too late for the previous generation, because it's never too late, but I think our main focus and our aim should be the generation that's coming right now. We have lost a good 20 to 25 years because of the struggle that Eritrea has gone through with all the wars and things like that. So I feel that generation has missed that anyway, a little bit of what usually gets transferred across down from your parents or grandparents. And I feel like if not in a negative notation, but sort of a bit of a lost generation is that generation. And we need to feed it with lots of love and feed it our culture. But we also need to work on the generation that's coming now. And if we don't work on that, we're going to get lost. Eritreans in the diaspora, especially Australia being so far away from Eritrea, we need to work on the youth. We need to have events. We need to get Eritrea known among Australia. We need to promote our culture in festivals, other than just Eritrean festival. We need to be out there, and hopefully as we get stronger and we have more memberships and things like that, if we need to be able to have some sort of finances. Hopefully, if we one day we would open a youth center for Eritreans where people come and meet there and people spend their weekends there rather than at someone's house. It'll be like a communal place for all of us to be together, and that's what we're hoping to achieve one day. It is a long shot of a goal, but if we don't work on it now, we're never going to get there. Hopefully, I answered the question.
That is amazing, Semhar. That's really amazing. So it's really, really wonderful what you were saying here, involving children, teaching them at home, but also what you just said about future near, or it doesn't have to be that far away. Close plans to at least even open a youth center, even an Eritrean center. They have it in part of the US, but in Europe is quite common. Well, even from the time of before the Eritrean independence, there used to be a lot of Eritrean clubs in different cities, and that's what we always you will drive like from here to literally 5, 6, 7 hours, and then the first place we go is just there, and then from there, then you will meet someone there, and they will take you home with them, and it could be someone you never met before, but then they were used to be like family, you know, just, and then we still have contact with them at the moment. You know, I used to go to Hamburg, you know, Yared Tesfay. I've been to their homes, you know, and I have never met them before, you know, just, but because they knew my parents and so on. And it's the same thing in Cologne, in other cities
we're all connected, no matter what.
yeah. So, and that started with what you exactly said. Somebody thought, let's create a community center where everyone could come, meet and greet, and then connected, you know. So you really hit the point there. I think we'll close here. Thank you. Really appreciate your time. Thank you everyone for following us on Horn of Africa TV. There is more to come. Let us know what you'd like to hear. And you might be the next one on this TV here. So thanks, Semhar. I know that actually, I really appreciate that you actually took the time off, because she's going to work. She worked last night, the whole night, and she's about to go to work for the night again. So, and raising 3 children. I know that Dawit is out there helping you a lot as well, but at least I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Really, thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
All work together and ignite that Eritreanism again. And this is something I really passionately want to see. Take care, and thank you for listening to us. Hopefully we've answered a few of your questions, and please feel free to hit me up anytime. I'm always available via Messenger or via text message, always willing to share ideas and love to learn anything from you guys. If you have anything to teach me, please do. And I'll sure to make use of it.